After replaying FNAF 3 once again, I took note of the presence of Shadow Freddy, who seemed to lure the animatronics right into the waiting hands of William within the safe room. With this in mind, an interesting idea popped up in my head. With this idea being what if the titular man behind the slaughter was really wearing the old Fredbear suit during this iconic minigame. Throughout the series, Fredbear has been a very mysterious character, with his brief appearances showing more and more lore about not only himself, but the restaurant he is a part of. Fredbear himself was a spring-locked suit created and mainly used by Henry, being present within Fredbear's family diner before ultimately closed down due to the death of Henry's daughter by Afton's hands. After this, it is unknown what happened to the suit, although many assume that it eventually ended up becoming Golden Freddy, which combined with Fredbear's appearance in UCN looking identical to the ghostly bear. This is also interesting given the fact that Golden Freddy is the only animatronic not seen during the minigame itself. Given William's long history with Fazbear Entertainment and Henry's creations, he has very acute knowledge of how the spring locks work, what triggers them to go off, and what will happen if they do, as seen by his conversation with Collagen way back in the Silver Eyes. We can also assume that given their versatility and his penchant for using Henry's creations in dark and sinister ways, William likely used the spring locks in his own creations, like the suit we see during Night 4 of Sister Location, and possibly the Fontaine animatronics themselves, showing that he has done extensive research on the devices. During Pizzeria Simulator, if the player acquires the egg baby from the catalog and places it within their restaurant, they'll get a secret audio recorded by Henry, expressing his guilt at the events in the series and not stopping Williams even when he could. However, one detail during this speech is incredible, as Henry states that if William used familiar tricks, they'll lure them back to a familiar place.
He lured them all back to a familiar place, back with familiar tricks. He brought them all together. Are they still aware? I hope not. It keeps me awake at night.
This implies that just like the missing children incident, Afton used the spring-locked suit to lure the children to the back room. The most interesting detail to note, and the one that spawned this theory in my head, is a brief scene in the Silver Eyes where Charlie is questioning John on his recollection of the pizzeria the day that Michael Brooks had disappeared. While doing so, John remembers William wearing one of the spring-locked suits, and specifically points out that it was a bear one, showing that Afton has experience with wearing both the Fredbear and Spring Bonnie suit. With all this in mind, my theory is that after breaking into the long closed down and abandoned Freddy's, William would devise a plan to dismantle the animatronics, likely both to get rid of any incriminating evidence, as well as to further his remnant experiments. However, due to knowing how dangerous and unstable the Spring Bonnie suit was at this point, he instead opted to use the Fredbear suit, using it to successfully lure the animatronics to the safe room and dismantle them. However, as many know, this plan would go awry when the spirits were released and cornered him, resulting in him hiding within the faulty Spring Bonnie suit and becoming Springtrap. This would also explain Cassidy's unrelenting anger towards her killer when compared to the other spirits, as she had to watch William once again lure her friends and harm them as a whole.